Thank you, Reed. So back from the EPARTRADE studio here in Los Angeles. It's about almost 3:30 p.m. here in California, and we had a wonderful day packed with webinars back to back. I am getting a little note from my co-founder, Judy, says, please remind everyone what EPARTRADE means. It means electronic performance and racing trade. So, thank you each and every one of you for being with us today. We have a wonderful group of hosts. Right now we have Brad Gillie with us from XM Radio. We have Jeff Hammond. We have Joe Castello, and of course, John Kilroy and Paul Fanner. We are going to be talking to our friend Lyle Clark. Lyle is somebody that's been with us from pretty much the beginning, is a wonderful man. He does a terrific job for the industry and a very important job. He keeps the race car in a safe place because there is a lot of thieves out there, and there's a lot of ways, and race cars are expensive. So Lyle has been in the business for a very, very long time, and he's going to share with us his little secrets, his little tips, and everything you need to do if you have a race team, a race car, or a race shop or anything. So it is 3:30. We run this by the minute. So Brad, on to you.
All right, thank you very much, Francis. Appreciate this. I'm pretty excited about this. I think this is going to be very interesting, and certainly something that any racer should be aware of, and certainly something that every racer should actually be a part of. Joining us now is the president of Trailer Alarms, Lyle Clark. And Lyle, first of all, welcome to Online Race Industry Week. We really appreciate you and Trailer Alarms being here.
You bet. It's an honor to be part of EPARTRADE. I've known Judy for way too long, since PRI days in Orlando is when I met her, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, Lyle, we've all heard the stories of, the trailer that gets stolen in the middle of the night at the hotel, and it had all your race car parts, all your tools, all your everything in it. No one wants that to happen. No one wants to hear about that happening to anybody. And you're certainly here to help minimize that risk that people unfortunately have to take if you're out on the road racing. So tell us a little bit about Trailer Arms. How long have you guys been around, and when did you get started?
So we actually just about to complete our 15th year in business. Started doing research back in 2004. A buddy of mine, Tommy Muth, who owns a kart shop in San Antonio, Texas Karts, had his trailer broken into a couple of times, and I thought, man, there's got to be something out there for trailer security. And it's pretty hard to find any kind of security items. So I spent a couple months doing some research, found some alarm systems, purchased some different locks, and thought, I think I can make a business out of this, kind of be the JEGS of trailer security. And that was my thought, was I want to be like JEGS. And so started buying some security systems, testing them, created a website, traileralarms.com, and it just kind of took off from there. And it was a little rough in the beginning, but just like any new business is, it's always tough getting started. And so that's kind of how we got started, about to start our 16th year.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, congratulations for continuing to push on and actually make a great viable business out of it as well. As far as the business goes, you mentioned being the JEGS, but are you just a distributor, or do you guys manufacture as well?
Well, almost 6 years ago, we became a manufacturer. The ProTech System 1 was originally manufactured in North Carolina by Tomal Systems. And they gave me a call right after Christmas 5 years ago and said, hey, Lyle, you're our #1 distributor. Why don't you buy our business? And didn't take me too long to answer that. I was selling more alarms than anybody else, and so I thought, why not? So went out there and visited with them, and we moved about 3 months later. Moved the manufacturing back here to Texas, and we've been going whole hog since.
Well, as a Texan myself, who is in North Carolina now, appreciate you being there in the Lone Star State, by the way. When it comes to this, and by the way, if you have a question for Lyle, just type it into the chat and we'll get all of your questions in that we can for sure. I know a lot of people might have questions very specific to what they do, maybe what type of trailer they have, and a lot of the different options. But Lyle, what do you see as far as the biggest security risk is? I mean, is it literally just trailers getting stolen at the hotel, or are we talking about maybe someone losing the contents of the trailer and just different things that people have happen to them that maybe we don't think about on the surface?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, you'll see trailers that are stolen just for the trailer aspect of it. We've been told of portable meth labs for the trailers. We've also been told that they'll bury the trailers and use them as like a bunker. So, there's all kinds of different things going off in people's minds. But then we'll see trailers that are just broken into for the contents, the tools. There'll be a car or something in there, and they'll know that they can't get rid of a high performance car. So they'll just take the tools and resell that stuff. But I mean, a couple years ago, there was a trailer stolen, and there was a NASCAR in the car, and they just rolled the car out in a ditch and took the trailer. So I mean, it takes all kinds.
Yeah, which is very frustrating. Again, no one wants to see it happen to them. No one wants to see it happen to anybody they know, especially in the racing community. What kind of trailer security systems do you typically recommend to your clients? What are some things that are must-haves, and maybe some things that are, boy, if you could have this, it would really be great to have as well?
Well, generally I like to talk to the customer to see what their need is, what they're protecting. I mean, I may have a 42-foot trailer, and some other guy may have a 16-foot trailer. So their needs are different. So I like to talk to the customers, see what they're looking for, see what they're expecting. Do they want something to just make a lot of noise? Do they want to be notified if the trailer is breached? Do they want to have GPS on it? And so those are some of the different things that we look at. As far as must-have, good locks. I mean, don't put a $3 padlock on your $100,000 trailer. And we've also heard of trailers being towed down the road by the safety chains. You may have the best lock on the tongue, but if you don't lock up your safety chains, they're going to tow it down the road. They don't care what happens to the tongue of the trailer. They're just trying to steal it and get what they can out of it. So just some common sense. My biggest deal is don't put a $3 lock on a $100,000 or more trailer.
I honestly don't know that I would have ever thought about locking safety chains, but when you say it, it makes perfect sense for sure. We do have a question from the chat, and as we talk about different technologies and different types of things that you can do to protect your trailer, do you have camera systems for your trailer, is what Paul Dotson wants to know. And if so, at what levels do they work? You had mentioned being notified of something happening with your trailer. Can you also have, say, a Ring doorbell version of trailer security?
Just so happens we are developing a system right now with a camera on it, so that when the alarm goes off, it will record 20 seconds of video and send it to you in an email. I mean, I've got parts all over the shop right now trying to get it all wired up, and we've got it all programmed. We've got the proof of concept done. So we know that it works. It's just we're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. But in the past, what we've told people is, get a hunting game cam and mount that inside the trailer. One of those things goes out, somebody opens the door, it's going to start taking pictures and it'll text you. So that's what we've told people in the past. But now we're actually developing a system with a camera.
Wow, that is impressive. And what a great thing to actually have that critical time to be able to get emailed to you so you can help the police in their efforts of finding it. Another question, let's see, how involved is the installation for the Protect system for most enclosed trailers?
A lot of it is, pardon my cruelty, it depends how anal you are on the installation. If you don't mind some wires hanging out, you can do it in a couple hours. But most people, the basic alarm system is going to take a minimum of probably about 4 hours, depending on, how much wire you have to run. Then if you have to make any penetrations to the roof for antennas or solar panels or stuff like that.
Well, when it comes to, I will say this is an industry of people who like to tinker, though. So I would think you can look at it as just like making your race car go fast. Well, make your race car actually be there when you want it to go fast.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some guys. I've got a guy in Washington State that he put all kinds of LEDs on the inside of his trailer, so that it will, draw attention and disorient the criminal. And these systems have 120 decibel sirens. They'll flash the running lights on the trailer, lock up the electric brakes. So they're going to draw some attention if they're connected correctly and actually armed.
And that is fantastic. Obviously, if someone actually gets to the point where they're trying to take your property, what about making the property a hard target? I mean, you mentioned having various locks in different places and having quality locks and all of that. What are some things that someone can do to actually deter a thief when they come by their trailer and say, maybe I don't want that one because that one's going to be a little bit of a tough night for me. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. And what products do you have for that?
Well, with our Protect system, we have an optional LED blinking light that mounts through the skin of the trailer for near the door, so that when the system is armed, the LED light is blinking. But we've actually seen that that's not as good sometimes. So a criminal sees a blinking light, they say, "Oh, they've got an alarm system. Let's see how we can defeat the alarm system." Whereas some criminals, I'm going to move on down the road and choose something else. Another good option is a good wheel boot lock. Visual deterrent goes a long way, and putting a good wheel boot lock on with a blinking LED for the alarm system. Those are two of the best visual deterrents that I recommend.
Lyle, looking through the traileralarms.com website, obviously you guys have a lot of products as well, a lot of different products. GPS tracking, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, for the Protect system, that actually came out about 2 years ago. We were at PRI, and probably 80% of the people that stopped by our booth asked us about GPS. And when I purchased the Protect company, the owner of the company said, "We don't need GPS. The brakes are going to lock up. They're not going to steal the trailer." Well, after that many requests and inquiries about GPS, we spent about 4 months developing a system that would, with the GPS, you can remotely arm and disarm the system. We had an app designed. You can get alerted via text message or email if the alarm is going off, and you can also track the system. So it's not just a GPS in the sense of trying to find where your kid is or something like that. So it's got some you can function with it. Hello. Hello.
Oh, it looks like we lost Brad. So this is the first one. Maybe a little connection problem here. This is the beauty of being live and being streaming. So let me see if John Kilroy is here and if John can step in. And let me see if I can get John. But keep going, Lyle.
So yeah, the GPS has been actually a really big seller for us over the last couple of years.
Oh,
and as a
Brad
matter
is back on. Brad
hey,
is
there
back.
you are.
My
And,
apologies.
Hey, stuff happens. I'm glad it was on your end. You guys had to figure it out.
Yeah, I was sitting there for a second thinking, wait a second, I'm pretty sure that's me, but I didn't want to jump in. And I do apologize for that, Lyle.
That's
But
right.
I know you talked about GPS and all of those other things. When it comes to the alarms, the connectivity of different things, I mean, it's one thing to have a big loud siren go off, especially, if you're at a place like a hotel and all of that. But what can really alert me that something has happened? How well can that connect to just my everyday life and what I'm doing when I'm away from the trailer?
Well, just kind of like racing, depends how much you want to spend to be, how alerted do you want to be? Our basic system just, flashes lights, sound a siren, locks up the brakes, all the way up to receiving text messages and emails. So those, if you want that end of it, that's going to cost you more. Whereas if you just want the sirens and the lights flashing, that's definitely a cheaper system. So
I got you. Again, if you have a question for Lyle, you can type it into the chat. We'd certainly be more than happy to ask him. Everything you guys have on the website at traileralarms.com. I mean, some of this seems so simple. And when I say simple, the installation is one thing, but the ease of use is another thing. I mean, it could be as simple as like unlocking my car door, right, to set the alarm on my trailer.
Oh yeah. So all of our systems, all of our ProTech systems come with a single button key fob. So you press it once to arm it, press it again to disarm it. Step up from there to the full-blown GPS. We've got the app that you can remotely arm and disarm. So yeah, and then we've got some customers that want to put a keypad inside the trailer because they've got multiple users. We've got that option available as well. For me personally, I'm not a fan of that because you've got to have the trailer door open to get to that keypad. But we sell a decent amount of them. In fact, 6 of them went out today. So.
Well, that's good. What do you say to the racer who might be a little more cavalier about where they park their trailer, what they do, and just say, I got insurance? I'm sure that sounds really great until it actually happens to you.
Yeah. I go to trade shows. PRI is our biggest one. And they say, oh, I don't need that. I've got a gun, or our dog is tied up to well, that only goes so far, and your dog and your gun have to be nearby. But some insurance companies will give you a discount if you have a theft prevention and a theft recovery device installed on your trailer. So it's we deal with an insurance company out of Florida, Race Insure, that will basically pay for the basic alarm system for a year if you insure through them. So, it's worth looking into, get a discount on your insurance. So.
Yeah. Heck, if this system helps pay for itself in those ways, that's great. I have another question from the chat. Paul Donson wants to know, can the system also be incorporated into the tow vehicle?
Our ProTech system cannot do that. Ours is a hardwired system. I guess if you had a quick disconnect for the wiring for like a motion sensor, you could do that. But actually, we try to keep everything hardwired, and that would just make it a little more difficult, is the best words I have. And it's not that we're afraid of work. It's just that we've got plenty of challenges with just protecting the trailer. So.
Well, you did mention some things like the boots for the wheels. You know, if someone wanted to steal the trailer in the tow vehicle, that could certainly help prevent it. Well, the alarm systems, I mean, is this something that is set off by motion? So if someone tows it away with the vehicle, that they're stealing as well? I mean, these are all things that are going to set everything off?
Yeah, so the system, the basic system has door sensors as well as an accelerometer built onto the circuit board of the alarm. So if the unit moves for X amount of feet for X amount of seconds, it's going to set it off, lock up the brakes, draw attention to the system. So, you know, if they're trying to steal the tow vehicle as well as the trailer, that feature will kick in.
You mentioned the insurance company. Derek Dixon was wondering what the name of that insurance company is.
I believe it's Race Insure, and it's not spelled typical. So they're listed on our website at trailer-alarms.com. So check that out.
All right.
Also want to mention that this QR code up here, if you scan the QR code with your smartphone, it'll take you to a discount page where we've got some discounts on our trailer alarms. So check that out.
Well, thank you for doing that for Online Race Industry Week. Here's a good question from Ron. Typically, the side door on race trailers have an RV-style locking system that's pretty useless. What do you recommend?
Those are junk. So what I recommend is get with an e-trailer or somebody like that. Put on a regular lever type lock, hasp type locking device over the RV style, and then get a good padlock, one of our locks that covers up the hasp. Yeah, those are junk. I mean, I've got pictures of, they'll take screwdrivers and just jam it in there and open it.
Yeah, I can see where it would make sense to have something that, you know, literally has a bar blocking the door.
Yeah.
Ryan Martin says, do you have any locks that work on food truck latches, like the door that opens to serve food out of?
Actually, just so happened, we've been working with a lock manufacturer for the last 2 months, and we've been working, printing prototypes on our 3D printer, and working with Simpson Race Products, who is here in town, borrowing their trailer, doing measurements and stuff like that. And I have one of the fresh locks in my hand. Naturally, cameras are junk too. But yeah, so those will be going for sale probably next week. We're getting a shipment of 200 locks next week. And we've got a section on our website for concession locks.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Well, speaking of that, I know we had talked about camera systems and different things like that. What else is new on the horizon for trailer alarms?
Well, the locks are, like I said, those are fresh out. I got the first ones off the mill and anodizing machines late last week. The rest of the shipments coming in late this week. We've got the new alarm system. It's the PTS2W, stands for Wi-Fi. So a lot of race teams already have Wi-Fi in their trailers. Construction companies, stuff like that, have Wi-Fi. With this alarm system, you'll be able to connect to the Wi-Fi. And if the alarm goes off, as I mentioned, it'll take about 20 seconds of video, send that to you, and you'll receive alerts as well. You'll be able to remotely arm and disarm it. So those are the two new things that we're working on. We've got another one that we're not ready to share just yet, but we've got a lot of testing going on.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned construction as well, because a lot of racers have their own business in any shape or form. I mean, it could be the construction business, it could be something else. You guys can pretty much service everyone, right, who needs to be able to secure, whether it be their race car trailer to their landscaping trailer to their construction trailer.
Yeah, and that, you know, that's why I like to talk to the trailer owners and see what their needs are, what kind of trailer they're trying to protect. You know, a landscaping trailer is going to be different to protect than a 53-foot race hauler. So it's yeah, construction and racing are our biggest markets. So.
That's great. Well, Lyle, I do want to thank you and remind people that you can go to EPARTRADE.com and you can go to the product page for traileralarms.com and request more information and find out more about what they do. But Lyle, it's a great service that you're providing, and it's definitely one that is a very small investment that could pay big returns in the end, especially if you get to keep all of your stuff. So thank you very much.
You bet. And make sure you scan the QR code. So.
Thank you very much, Lyle. Thank you. Stay with us. We're going to move you back as an attendee. That way you can come back anytime for any other session.